You have two ships are going in a certain direction. This is a ship where people logically work through things, and this is a ship that's adjusted by the algorithm, affected by the algorithm. And it just moves that much. Over time, this is what we're seeing. You and I, who used to be on the left, are now like, where's the left? Where are you guys? You guys are so far away. I can't even see you.
Joe Rogan has made some remarkable strides since he started his podcast in 2009, and we had no idea how much of a unifying voice he would become over the years. Rogan used to be a hardcore leftist, and more he has been departing from that ideology, developing more conservative views while telling his audience, look, I'm not a liberal or a conservative because the truth is always somewhere in the middle. Let's have a conversation about it. Before we get into it, if you're new to this channel, please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos. Help us build the inverted world community. Rogan has just made a new deal with Spotify worth up to $250 million. This is the second one he's made since the original in 2020 during COVID. And I'm astonished that it's gone this far considering how much his views have changed over the years. Spotify actually came under huge pressure in 2022 to drop Rogan over his anti-coronavirus vaccine comments and the use of racial slurs, with musicians like Neil Young pulling their music from the platform in protest. The CEO denounced the host's racist language, but said, I do not believe that silencing Joe is the answer. These are huge risks that Joe Rogan has taken. He went from having Hollywood celebrities on his show talking about pretty mundane stuff. I'll admit that I enjoyed his spiritual conversations when he talked about psychedelics, but then he got into the more conspiratorial realm when he started talking about COVID and the vaccines. He was having anti-big pharma guests on his show like RFK and Robert Malone. That was huge. He encouraged people to take ivermectin, which the mainstream media smeared him for. They actually used manipulated footage to make him seem sicker from the virus than he actually was.
Hundreds of doctors have written an open letter to Spotify about their most popular podcast host, Joe Rogan. They say they are fed up with the misinformation Rogan has been spreading about the pandemic.
One doctor is even calling him a menace to public health.
When you have misinformation on a platform like that going unchecked, it creates a sense of false balance, like there's two sides to this issue when really they are not.
All of us who've been attacked for our position, to all those people, what do you think the motivation is? I lost friends, allies in the media, millions of dollars in sponsorship because I talked about what worked for me and my own beliefs and my own health reasons why I didn't get vaccinated.
Oh, by the way, you were right.
Yeah.
You were right. Look, you didn't need it. Look how quickly you recovered. You were fine.
And same with you.
Yeah.
And what did they do? They changed the color of your face. they vilified all early treatments, including a medicine that has one of the safest profiles out there. That we've talked about it. The guy who invented it got a Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
They were using it all over the world, in Uttar Pradesh, in Africa, and various places. And that's what you do during a pandemic, right? You find ways to repurpose drugs for early treatments. But now they couldn't do that because if there's an early treatment, then they can't get the UA.
Drugs that have been proven to have antiviral properties.
Yeah.
Now, we know that Rogan has been on the fence for a while, but this recent podcast that he did with Bobby Lee indicates that he is 100% done with the left, and I don't think there's any going back for him.
Peace, I'm out of here!
Even Bobby Lee, who has been very anti-Trump, very woke, is starting to come around a bit and now admits that he is in the middle.
I'm in the middle now.
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle.
I never thought I would ever say that.
Never.
It only happened in this last year.
Right, exactly.
I just went, I can't do it anymore. You know, people that you thought were aligned with you are like now like mad at you about shit.
They're in a cult. They're in a cult.
I mean, obviously I have my opinions about it, you know what I mean, that I'm keeping to myself, but it's like, you have to be careful because I live in LA and, you know.
Oh, I hear you. After a while, when a bunch of people had COVID and then gotten over it and they were fine, I was like, well, wait a minute. Like, how scary is this? And why are we closing everything down? Why aren't we giving people choice? And when it never opened.
I bought into it.
Of course you did.
I didn't even leave the house for 2 years. I didn't even go to the grocery store and I had to spray everything down. Doritos, spraying it with It was insane.
Rogan realized especially how crazy the left has become when he saw how poorly run Democrat cities are with the increase in crime and homelessness. This is one of the reasons he moved out of California to Texas.
Well, I used to be a part of the Blue Bubble. I was 100% a left-leaning person who lived in Los Angeles. I was 100%. I never voted Republican my whole life. I was very left-leaning, especially with like any social issues. When it comes to financial things, I'm a little bit more conservative, but at the end of the day, I'm way more left than I am right. But California went nuts, man. It's gone like full communist. It's out of its mind. And their approach to law enforcement is so insane. It's so insane. The no cash bail, the letting people out for committing violent crimes, the not stopping people for stealing up to whatever money it is. What is it, $900 now? I think they raised it. I think they made it a little higher. San Francisco is non-existent. Most of San Francisco is emptied out of like big chain stores and big department stores.
I won't even do stand-up there anymore.
It's crazy.
They ruined it.
They ruined the city.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you can bring it back. The structure's still there. But
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
to have some hardcore Rudy Giuliani type motherfucker to come in there and knock heads.
Wow.
And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. They're peace, love, and granola and wear a mask.
I think also the reason why people like Rogan are walking away from the left is because they are no longer the party with the values that these people have associated with for so many years.
I used to think of myself as a progressive, but what I have a problem with all of this is that the left is attacking itself now. It's like there's no one who's progressive enough. No one. Like every single thing you do is a microaggression. Every single thing you do is based on white privilege, and therefore you're racist. And unless you somehow or another give up all your money and give up all your jobs, and there are people who are asking to do that too, by the way. There's people asking people to give their money and put them in black banks, give them to black people. I mean, we're going crazy. Where's the left? Where are you guys? You guys are so far away. I can't even see you.
The left used to be anti-war, fighting the corporations, supporting free speech. Now they have become the authoritarian fascist regime that wants to keep supporting the war in the Ukraine, for instance, or merging with corporations to push their propaganda and forcing censorship through social media and other means.
Like, you think you're a good person if you buy hook, line, and sinker everything that the left says. That's crazy. These are the same people that want war. These are the same people that are encouraging censorship. These are the same people that are trying to silence dissent. That's all totalitarian shit. And just because it's done for trans kids or for Black Lives Matter or for any social cause that you think is like undeniably worthy, it's still the same thing at the end of the day. The Patriot Act still controlled people in a way that was never allowed before. And it did it under the guise that we have to stop a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Rogan also spoke out against the gender-affirming care surgeries being pushed on kids.
You're fucking chopping dicks off, giving little kids hormone blockers. You have no idea what the long-term consequences are. You're ignoring the health risks. You won't even talk about the health risks.
Yeah.
You use things like gender-affirming care. What are you saying?
Yeah.
What are you saying when you're talking about children?
Yeah.
Why are you just accepting this? It's not like, oh my God, what are we doing to kids? It's not like, oh my God, what are we doing to San Francisco? It's not like, oh my God, why are we letting these violent criminals out of jail? It's like, oh my God, why are we defunding the fucking police?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
There have also been a lot of conservative guests on his show, like Alex Jones, Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson. He seems to have more conservative views than liberal views. So that just leaves us wondering, is he really now just a conservative but doesn't want to admit it? Maybe he'll get deplatformed or lose his bipartisan audience if he moves too far to one side, especially too far right. Here's the thing. I don't feel that Joe Rogan's purpose is to take one side or the other. It makes sense for him to be in the center because if your goal is to wake people up, in order to do that, you don't want to be too attached to one side. I think he has a really good format for his show, which is to have a range of guests like comedians, actors, politicians, news pundits, other celebrities, and just have a 3-hour casual conversation without having any specific agenda. What's cool is that these topics topics like COVID, the vaccine, the politics, all this stuff comes up naturally when you have more of a hangout environment that Joe Rogan is really good at creating. A lot of liberals watch him and they will more easily grasp his ideas. I thought that his podcast with RFK Jr., who is an anti-establishment Democrat, was a great way for the moderate left to wake up to the lies of Big Pharma.
Is this possible that this is the guy that's telling the truth? Is this possible that everyone that I know that had these strong opinions of you, that most of them at least, were like me? They had formed these opinions through a glance at a headline, someone talking about you on a television show, and so and then we run into each other in Aspen. Just randomly.
That was the weirdest moment because we were both staring at each other.
Yeah.
And then we almost did it like a full 360.
In this information war that we're fighting, everyone is playing their own unique roles. Just to give you an example, a lot of Trump supporters are saying that Tucker Carlson should be Trump's VP because he's not a career politician and he tells the truth. Now, while it would be fun and entertaining to see that, I don't really want that because we need Tucker as a journalist. He is one of the last remaining all-star journalists still around, and why should he get into the dirty business of politics and just throw all that away? It just doesn't make sense. So for those who are saying Rogan is just a tool of the establishment, he's a shill, well, he's no longer a shill because his views are changing radically. He is by no means perfect or a full-on conservative, but he is a centrist, and that's the role that he needs to be in right now. The goal is unity, and he has the perfect audience, the perfect amount of influence to make a difference in the collective consciousness, and I enjoy watching him evolve. In the end, we're all on a journey, we are all evolving, and that's why free speech is so important, because we need to let people be on their journey. Rogan has a great way of giving people a platform for that. Rogan is also someone who knows how to get around the censorship, which has unfortunately targeted a lot of conservatives. But I think the lesson to be learned here is that the truth is always somewhere in the middle, and Rogan sets a good example for that. How can we reach the maximum amount of people with a wide range of beliefs instead of being stuck in the echo chambers of the left and the right? There's always something to be learned from both sides of the aisle. And that is the goal here of this channel. If you watch one of my previous videos, Can You Be Pro-Life and Pro-Choice? My fiance Karu and I explain how we can bridge the gap between these two opposing views that are very triggering for people on both sides, but we find that we can learn something from both of those sides. While a lot of the content I do here tends to be more right-leaning, I'm not here to be another ideologue for the right-wing echo chamber either. My goal is to look at the bigger picture, find the deeper meanings, and go beyond the binary. I hope you can learn from my channel and do the same with your own beliefs. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please be sure to like and share this video. Until next time, thanks for watching Inverted World.
The left is attacking itself now. It's like there's no one who's progressive enough.